Well, let's start on chapter 10. It's a little shorter of a chapter. We've had some long ones, so you want to start, Christy?
Sure. Jesus the Good Shepherd. Very truly, I tell you, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by another way, is a thief and a bandit. So I'm on 872, John.
Yeah, gee, thank you.
Yep.
Also,
The one who
Okay.
enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. They will not follow a stranger, but they will run from him because they do not know the voice of the strangers. Jesus used this figure of speech with them, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. So again Jesus said, very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved, and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life, and have it abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand, who is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and runs away. And the wolf snatches them and scatters them. The hired hand runs away because a hired hand does not care for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that do not belong to this fold. I must bring them also, and they will listen to my voice. So there will be one flock, one shepherd. For this reason the Father loves me, because I lay down my life in order to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. I have received this command from my Father. Again the Jews were divided because of these words. Many of them were saying, he has a demon and is out of his mind. Why listen to him? Others were saying, these are not the words of one who has a demon. Can a demon open the eyes of the blind? At that time, the festival of the dedication took place in Jerusalem. It was winter, and Jesus was walking in the temple, in the portico of Solomon. So the Jews gathered around him and said to him, how long will you keep us in suspense? If you are the Messiah, tell us plainly. Jesus answered, I have told you, and you do not believe. The works that I do in my Father's name testify to me, but you do not believe, because you do not belong to my sheep. My sheep hear my voice. I know them and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they will never perish. No one will snatch them out of my hand. What my Father has given me is greater than all else, and no one can snatch it out of the Father's hand. The Father and I are one. The Jews took up stones again to stone him. Jesus replied, I have shown you many good works from the Father. For which of these are you going to stone me? The Jewish leaders answered, it is not for a good work that we are going to stone you, but for blasphemy, because you, though only a human being, are making yourself God. Jesus answered, is it not written in your law, I said you are gods? If those to whom the word of God came were called gods, and the scripture cannot be annulled, can you say that the one whom the Father has sanctified and sent into the world is blaspheming because I said I am God's son? If I am not doing the works of my Father, then do not believe me. But if I do them, even though you do not believe me, believe the works, so that you may know and understand that the Father is in me and I am in the Father. Then they tried to arrest him again, but he escaped from their hands. He went away again across the Jordan to the place where John had been baptizing earlier, and he remained there. Many came to him, and they were saying, John performed no sign, but everything that John said about this man was true. And many believed in him there.
There's a sort of logic Jesus is trying to help them guide through. It's like if A equals B and B equals C, then C equals A, right? Mm-hmm. So if God does good works and I'm doing good works, but it's more than that. Again, like this sense of Jesus isn't necessarily saying I'm so special. In 34, he says, I say you are gods, meaning anyone who is a child of God who is aligned with God's will is going to do good works and is a child of God and can call God Father. And God is in them. So I wonder, is that what's so radical? that God is in potentially all of us and we can all be children of God, what is it they find, or do they really think Jesus is speaking exclusively? Like, what do they think is so offensive?
Yeah, maybe the inclusivity, because like when I was thinking about when I read 16, I have other sheep that do not belong to this fold. I must bring them also. Like that made me think that, you know, what he was saying to them was it's not just the Jews, it's the Gentiles, it's everyone. And what he's saying to us is the same thing. It's not just the Christians, it's everyone. And that maybe ruffles some feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That whole exclusivity complex that a lot of people in various faiths have. They say, we're the only ones of the 500 that'll be going.
Well, it starts out talking about gatekeeping, too.
Isn't that interesting?
It really is.
Gatekeeping.
And who is the gatekeeper? It's Jesus. Which you might go, oh, well, he's going to judge us. Which, you know, other things in the Bible say that too. But so therefore we have to be the right kind of Christians or we're not going to go. No, then you're taking away the gatekeeping job from him. If we start saying, no, you're not a good person. You're a good person, but you're not.
Yeah. Judgment is his,
Interesting.
not ours. With good reason.
And the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. It seems to be like the people who try to take that away from him and say, I'm going to decide who's in the fold and who's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so many of them who say that and they use it for justification to kill and destroy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Quite
think-
literally.
Point isn't a mystical God is or Jesus is going to be specifically picking and choosing who goes to heaven. Maybe it is, but I don't think that's the point. I think the point here is that if we are gatekeeping, we're doing a bad thing. We're the thief then.
That's
You have to be completely in tune with what the shepherd wants to be a good gatekeeper, right? Because the reason you put sheep in a pasture is to protect them from the outside wolves. But if you're not going to let the shepherd in, or you're going to let a thief and a bandit in, you're a very bad gatekeeper. So I also like the idea of the sheep know his voice, and I think about how in destructive religion, one of the first things you're taught is to not be able to listen to your own intuition and gut when it's telling you something's wrong. And it was in all those books I mentioned, plus all these other books that I read on that. It's like right away from the beginning, this sense that you can say, this isn't right, this isn't fair, I don't like this, is almost like beaten out of you. To where you think, oh, I must not know anything about what's right for me. And reclaiming that as an adult is incredibly hard work. And this is a huge, by the way, this is a huge thing that's happened in general in Christianity and with women and everything. Is just like, you cannot trust your own feelings, intuition, instincts. You have to listen to the authority. It's a complete distortion of this, which I believe Jesus is like, if you tune into your inner truth, you're going to know if I'm speaking the truth or not. You know. So, and when you do, you'll recognize the voice of the shepherd and you'll follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ironically, I think a lot of those destructive systems that tell you not to listen to that inner voice come from a place of trying to help. Because they're like, well, you can be misled. Certainly a lot of people have been misled. So we need some way of deciding externally to ourselves whether or not something's true or not. And so let's establish an authority that will help people know this is where you come to for truth. And over time, that becomes more and more locked down, closed, concentrated, and of course, inevitably, those who seek power will get into that authority chain.
Yeah. Go ahead.
it's just made like, if you don't lock it down like what you said, it's just a form of controlling
Yeah.
everything which you said, and it just it's all about having them in your group, so much of it is, and then It's bizarre.
I saw this post from a pastor, and he goes, "Hey, conservative Christians, everything you don't like or don't understand is not demonic."
Yeah.
Yes, this happens all the time, which is demonic. This demonic, like anything you're afraid of or you're not ready for. And that's actually a very interesting point. We're not always ready for certain stages of spirituality, right? God gently leads us on our own journey. But if you see somebody who's doing something that you're like, no, I would never do that, it doesn't mean what they're doing is necessarily evil or wrong.
Yeah.
It's ripe for them. It might not be ripe for you. And so there's a sense of which, and they even talk about Jesus being demonic, right? There's a sense of like, fear makes you look at things you don't understand and can't control, must be demonic. And imagine if we were able to say, that could be the working of God in a way that's beyond me, that's way bigger, and I'm just not ready for it.
And that's why you always have to look at the fruits of it. Like, you always go back to, like, how do you know if this person is really of God or the opposite? Well, what fruits is it producing?
Yeah.
Is it helping people?
Yeah.
Is it freeing people, or is it hurting people?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's a neat metaphor. I'm just looking at it. Bare branches out there. In the winter, you look at that tree or that shrub that's coming out from under there with nothing on it. You can't tell what it is, if it's good or bad, if it makes edible fruit or poisonous.
Yeah.
Then the spring, when it leaves out, you'll start to get clues.
Deep, Kirsten.
Yeah,
that's just-
I like that.
Well, you were saying fruit, and I looked that out.
Yeah. Yeah. The biggest block we have as humans is not only do we not look for the fruit, but we're not honest about it. So there's so much we can't see. A lot is hidden. And so there are, when scandals get uncovered, right? Like, oh, well, we hid those fruits, those bad fruits, really well. I think that's what Jesus wants to do, is shine a light on everything so we can see the truth of what's going on. Hey, look, a bunch of bad fruit here. You thought it was okay, but look at what's really happening underneath. And Kirsten, do you want to read 11?
Sure. Now a certain man was ill, Lazarus of Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. Mary was the one who anointed the Lord with perfume and wiped his feet with her hair. Her brother Lazarus was ill. So the sisters sent a message to Jesus, "Lord, he whom you love is ill." But when Jesus heard it, he said, "This illness does not lead to death. Rather, it is for God's glory, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it." Accordingly, though Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus, after having heard that Lazarus was ill, he stayed 2 days longer in the place where he was. Then after this he said to the disciples, "Let us go to Judea again." The disciples said to him, "Rabbi, the Jews are just now trying to stone you. You're going to go there again?" Jesus answered, "Are there not 12 hours of daylight? Those who walk during the day do not stumble because they see the light of the world. But those who walk at night stumble because the light is not in them." After saying this, he told them, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going there to awaken him." The disciples said to him, "Lord, if he has fallen asleep, he'll be all right." Jesus, however, had been speaking about his death, but they thought that he was referring merely to sleep. Then Jesus told them plainly, "Lazarus is dead. For your sake, I am glad I was not there, so that you may believe. But let us go to him." Thomas, who is called the twin, said to his fellow disciples, "Let us also go, that we may die with him." Thomas's mind goes weird places. When Jesus arrived, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb 4 days. Now Bethany was near Jerusalem, some 2 miles away. And many of the Jews had come to Martha and Mary to console them about their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went and met him, while Mary stayed at home. Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." But even now I know that God will give you whatever you ask of him." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha said to him, "I know that he will rise again in the resurrection of the last day." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Those who believe in me, even though they die, will live, and everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?" She said to him, "Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, the one coming into the world." When she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary and told her privately, "The teacher is here and is calling for you." And when she heard it, she got up quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet come to the village, was still at the place where Martha had met him. The Jews who were with her in the house, consoling her, saw Mary get up quickly and go out. They followed her because they thought that she was going to the tomb to weep there. When Mary came where Jesus was and saw him, she knelt at his feet and said to him, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping and the Jews who came with her also weeping, he was greatly disturbed in spirit and deeply moved. He said, "Where have you laid him?" They said to him, "Lord, come and see." Jesus began to weep. So the Jews said, "See how he loved him." But some of them said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Then Jesus, again greatly disturbed, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone was lying against it. Jesus said, "Take away the stone." Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to him, "Lord, already there is a stench, because he has been dead 4 days." Jesus said to her, "Did I not tell you if you believed, you would see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. And Jesus looked upward and said, "Father, I thank you for having heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I have said this for the sake of the crowd standing here, so that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, he cried out with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out!" The dead man came out, his hands and feet bound with strips of cloth, and his face wrapped in the cloth. Jesus said to them, "Unbind him and let him go." Many of the Jews, therefore, who had come with Mary and seen what Jesus did, believed in him. But some of them went to the Pharisees and told them what he had done. So the chief priests and the Pharisees called a meeting of the council and said, "What are we to do? This man is performing many signs. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and destroy both our holy place and our nation." But one of them, Caiaphas, who was high priest that year, said to them, "You know nothing at all. You do not understand that it is better for you to have one man die for the people than to have the whole nation destroyed." He did not say that on his own, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus was about to die for the nation, and not for the nation only, but to gather into one the dispersed children of God. So from that day on, they planned to put him to death. Jesus therefore no longer walked about openly among the Jews, but went from there to a town called Ephraim in the region near the wilderness, and he remained there with his disciples. Now the Passover of the Jews was near, and many went up from the country to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. They were looking for Jesus and were asking one another as they stood in the temple, "What do you think? Surely he will not come to the festival, will he?" Now the chief priests and the Pharisees had given orders that anyone who knew where Jesus was should let them know, so that they might arrest him. That
What?
had,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, that had to really freak people out when they saw Lazarus come back. So I can see why some would go to the authorities and say, "I don't know what to think about this."
And they really made it as, you cannot deny this. He'd been in there 4 days, there was a smell, right? It wasn't like in the other story, other gospel of the little girl, oh, she's fallen asleep, she just died.
Mhm.
Was she really asleep? Was she really dead?
Yeah, this was visceral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, let him go. Yeah, let him go get cleaned up here. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably wants a shower.
So I think it's really interesting reading this year that Jesus maybe lingered because it was really obvious to him that Bethany being so close to Jerusalem and the communication back and forth, that becoming visible and doing something that visible, going to Lazarus, healing him whether he was alive or not, was going to put him in danger. And it was his death sentence if he went. And it might have taken him a couple days of prayer to figure out if this was the right time and place, if this is the plan. And I can imagine, I always wondered, like, why did he stay? And to me, the idea that he stayed just so he could rise someone from the dead to be dramatic doesn't seem very fair. I think there's something a little bit more to the fact that he maybe just was like, what do I do? And when Thomas says, I think it's actually very sweet that Thomas is like, oh, he knew. We're going? All right, well, they're going to kill Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go and die with you too. It's very sweet. Obviously,
Yeah, it
they
is.
run away when the time comes, but
Yeah.
the intention was there. And I also want to point out that when Martha comes and says, yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Messiah, out of all of the people Jesus has interacted with in the Gospel of John, the only people who've had a strong sense of who Jesus was is the Samaritan woman, the blind man, and Martha. And then you could argue Mary too. None of them are the 12 disciples. And I even had a note here from an earlier one that her confession is similar to Peter's confession and other ones that makes him the rock. It's funny how the Catholic Church is just like, oh, Peter, when he's not really, he's like barely in this gospel at all. I haven't really mentioned him.
So they haven't even. So I was thinking Peter's confession that you are the Son of God was when they're on their walk to Jerusalem, or was that earlier on?
It's not in John at all.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. In the other
But
Gospels,
in the other
I
Gospels,
thought it was after he came back from the dead, no?
no, there's this passage where Jesus takes them out to Caesarea Philippi and says, who do people say that I am? And Peter
Right.
goes, I believe that you're the Christ. And then in one of the Gospels, Jesus is like, yes, and I'm going to go die. And Peter says, don't. And then Jesus goes, get behind me, Satan, right? It's this big whiplash.
I mean, I'm trying to recall where in the Gospel, or where in his journey in the other Gospels this comes up, and if it's consistent.
It's like
I think it's the Eye of
halfway-ish,
the Rock thing is the.
kind of halfway-ish maybe.
Okay, so we're past that point in this Gospel then.
I mean, yeah, it is actually about halfway in John, which is a good point. I hadn't thought of that.
Now I've got halfway there stuck in my head.
Yeah.
You're living on a prayer.
One more thing. You guys can not believe this if you don't want to, but it's interesting. In reading one of the books about Mary Magdalene and how basically she was way bigger of a person in the first 300 years of the Christian church. Like everybody knew her and she was definitely seen as a very important person. And then she kept getting demoted in after that. So one of the ways they think they demoted her is by making her appearance in the Gospels less and breaking things up. So things that she did were now relegated to someone else. So some people think it's possible because of the way scrolls, if you look back on old scrolls, they'll have names crossed out and they'll put something else. They think this might be Mary Magdalene and her brother was Lazarus, and there was no Martha. It was just Mary.
Mary seems to have been a fairly common name, so.
Yeah, and so they were just like, oh, it's just this other Mary. The thought is maybe that the confession comes from Mary Magdalene. Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the one who's coming into the world. But they had to like not make her so important and powerful. That's one of the theories. So they're like, put it in Martha. Who's Martha? I don't know. You guys, whatever. It's a thought. It's a thought. Because we don't actually hear anything about Mary until the resurrection of Jesus. But we have this Mary. So does it mean something? Does it not mean something? I don't know.
Interesting.
More women is great too.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're talking about people who were done dirty by later revisions and things like that.
Yeah.
I was really struck by Thomas being the one who is, because he gets portrayed as doubting Thomas. And
Right.
here he's like immediately, oh yes, I'm going to
Yeah.
believe in you so much I want to die with you.
I know, it's very sweet.
Yeah.
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 It's only called doubting Thomas because of that bit way further on.
Right.
Where he's like, well, just show me that it really is you.
And wouldn't we all have felt that way.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't the one who went and denied him 3 times.
Right.
I think that story might have originally been told so we had someone to relate to, and
Most
it was
likely.
twisted to be like, "Don't be like Thomas," right?
Yes.
Oh,
You
man,
must
there
never
we
doubt
go,
what we're
too.
telling you.
That just like, don't believe your inner voice, believe what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, as Jesus said, you've been blessed to actually see, but even blessed even more are those who believe without actually having seen, because I mean, I'm not going to be. These hands are not going to be there for everyone in the future to see.
Yeah.
I just can't, just the way some of this stuff's just written, it's so hard to believe sometimes that it just keeps, okay, so you take 10 people and you keep passing a story down. You know, boom, 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 like this. And then to have it come up in such detail and everything later. And then that, you know, divine, you know, if that, you know, if they put it on the writers, if that's divineness, or is that an agenda? You know,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, you know, a lot of it. So I guess sometimes I just try to get one little message out of it without, I don't know, because you find it and it just kind of contradicts itself, boom, 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 all
Yeah.
that
It
stuff.
does.
And I mean, I got this sentence, got that sentence. Oh, you know, what does this mean? You know, and I'd kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it helps to remember the Gospels were never trying to give a literal accounting of what happened. That was never their goal, and no one expected that, and none of the early readers expected that.
But this sounds like that so much.
Sure.
This
So
Yeah.
modern years are very
it's
much
like
does.
the authors
Yeah.
is that. And,
Yeah.
Run.
It's, for example, it's not quite right, but if we read a historical fiction book based off true events, when we're reading it or watching a movie that's based off of true events, we understand that there's some license taken with it, but there's a certain point. It's not quite the same, but the people who might have read these as Gospels would have understood that the order of events, the choosing of events, the retelling of events were given with an agenda. But I think they would also hope their agenda was for good. Ultimately was on the good side of things. But it is humans writing it, and so we do know that later scribes and other stuff like that, and the choosing of which Gospels were and weren't in here, nothing humans do is going to be completely pure of intention.
No, that's true.
Even people who like to read channeled works, you guys know channeled works, it's what we think the Bible is, but it's not. It's where people literally go in a trance
The
and then they'll
automatic
like
writing.
recite stuff and read stuff, like they're literally downloading, right? Even they will admit that the information is limited to the vehicle that they are. So their personality, their lived experience is the syntax that their spirit angel is limited to. And therefore, like, what computer are you using? It's going to limit the program that you're able to work on. And so, like, I as a writer, typing on a typewriter or pen or whatever, it might come out differently in how quickly I can do it and what I choose to do. Humans are an interface for the divine, and we are an imperfect interface. Does that make sense?
This does make sense.
And so that way I think we can add a little grace to this, knowing that, like, there's definitely going to be human interference, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have inspiration.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh, that does to me.
Yeah,
I like where you put it as interference rather than error. We, s-
I like that too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
we have such a tendency to, well, because we're all expecting this to be an exact accounting. Well, if something's not, well, then that's just because they're human and they screwed up. And I think that's misunderstanding how people wrote things back then.
Probably.
And we have to remember that this is a translation.
That too.
I mean,
That
the
too.
book that we are
Another
reading
chance
is a
for-
translated work, at least one-fold, but more likely 2 or 3-fold translated.
Yeah.
If you want to go down the rabbit hole in that, I recommend the book Le Tombeau de Marot by Douglas Hofstadter. It's all about translation.
Oh, yeah.
It's fascinating. He was trying to translate a poem by Marot that is just beautifully poetic, and you lose something every time you try to translate it.
Yeah.
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 That's a very good point.
That is.
Well, and we're limited by our language too. So
Mhm.
people that are like actually writing from the divine, I mean, we don't have words for all of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which your analogy of which computer you're using to run a program, limiting your options of how it can be expressed or how it can be run, is very apropos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Katie was having computer problems last week, and our bulletin was different, you might have noticed, than previous bulletins because she couldn't use the normal program and the normal template she was using. And she had to go through a lot of work to make it look like what it did. If you imagine for a moment, she, like God, is trying to give a message out through people, but this program's not working. I have to work more tediously through this other voice, and it's just not going to come out the same.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't mean that it was bad or wrong. It came out different,
Yeah.
and it took more work. Well, I think because of the time, we'll stop there. What is interesting is if we continue to read 12, which we will next week, right after, because of Lazarus, then you have this beautiful story of Mary anointing Jesus' feet and all those connotations, which I love. So,
And one of those interesting influence of the game of telephone,
Yeah.
it got referenced in the previous,
I was just about
as
to
if
say,
it had already happened.
exactly, they're like,
Yeah.
Mary, who anointed Lazarus, or at least Will, anointed Jesus.
Yes, but,
But if we remember that people were telling this